Captain Ryan Hale stood under the twin suns of Seraphisvar, feeling both proud and nervous. The alien sky shimmered in strange colors, blue mixed with gold like liquid light. Around him stood hundreds of alien beings known as the Aelari, tall, graceful, with silver eyes and pale glowing skin. Today was a historic day. Humans and Aelari were signing a peace agreement after 10 long years of cold silence. Ryan had been chosen to represent Earth, a symbol of hope and diplomacy. He had practiced speeches, gestures, even alien customs. But still, he didn't understand half of what these people considered polite. The Aelari capital city was a wonder. Floating towers of crystal, gardens made of light, and a temple so tall it touched the clouds. At the center of it all, on a silver stage, stood Lyra, the daughter of the Aelari High Council. She was calm, elegant, and mysterious. Her eyes seemed to see more than just the surface of things. When Ryan first met her, he had felt something strange, like a quiet hum inside his chest. She spoke softly, but every word carried meaning. The stars remember everything, she had told him. Even promises. He didn't know what she meant back then, but he would never forget it. As the peace ceremony began, music filled the air, soft, like wind through glass. Ryan stepped forward, holding the treaty. He smiled and handed it to Lyra, who accepted it with both hands in a graceful bow. The crowd of humans and Aelari cheered. Cameras floated around, recording every moment. For the first time, peace felt real. Ryan's heart swelled with relief. Maybe humanity could finally stop fighting and start learning from these beings of light. Then, everything changed. A blinding flash ripped through the ceremony. The ground shook. An explosion thundered behind the stage. Screams filled the air. Ryan dropped to the ground as shards of crystal flew past him. Security drones fired into the smoke. Someone had launched an attack. No one knew from which side. Before he could move, he saw a figure running toward him. It was Lyra. "Captain!" She shouted, reaching for him. Ryan grabbed her hand just as another blast erupted nearby. The shockwave threw them both to the floor. His ears rang. His heart pounded. When the smoke cleared, he saw that Lyra had shielded him with her own body. A piece of burning debris had fallen inches away from them. Her arm was bleeding, the silver liquid shining under the light. "You saved me," Ryan said, breathless. She smiled weakly. "You would have done the same." Without thinking, Ryan cupped her face gently. In that moment, surrounded by chaos, fire, and fear, he kissed her. It wasn't romantic. It was human. It was instinct, gratitude, relief. But the world around him fell silent. Every Aelari in sight froze. The music stopped. Even the air seemed still. Lyra's eyes widened. The light on her skin glowed brighter, too bright. Ryan blinked in confusion. I'm sorry. It was just, she placed her fingers on her lips, trembling. "You kissed me." He nodded awkwardly. "Yeah, did I do something wrong?" Her expression changed. Calm, heavy, almost sacred. "By the stars." "You have claimed me," Ryan frowned. "Wait, what?" The Aelari soldiers surrounding them suddenly kneeled. The crowd gasped as a deep chime echoed across the sky. The light from the temple flared to life, casting beams of silver toward them. Lyra whispered something in her own language, soft, melodic, and ancient. The meaning appeared in Ryan's translation earpiece. "We are now bound." Bound? He didn't understand. Bound how? Then the High Council approached, tall and glowing, their faces unreadable. One of them raised a staff. "Captain Ryan Hale of Earth," the elder said in a low voice. "You have invoked the right of union. You have sealed a sacred bond before the stars themselves." Ryan's mouth went dry. "Hold on, what right?" "I just kissed her." "It's a human gesture, that's all." The elder shook his head. "Among the Aelari, the kiss of light is sacred. It is not taken, it is given. It is a promise of eternal unity." Lyra stood silent, her silver eyes reflecting both confusion and destiny. Ryan laughed nervously. "You're telling me that one kiss means we're married?" No one laughed with him. That night he was taken to the crystal chamber guarded by Aelari sentinels. Human officers argued outside, demanding his release, calling this a cultural misunderstanding. But the Aelari refused. Inside, Lyra waited, wearing ceremonial silver robes. "I didn't mean to cause this," Ryan said. "It was just human instinct." "I know," Lyra replied softly. "But the stars have already witnessed it. The bond is formed. If broken, one or both may perish. Ryan stared at her, speechless. That's insane, she looked down. Perhaps. But our ways are old. We believe souls can merge through intent. Your intent was pure, Captain. That is why the bond accepted you. He sat down, running his hands through his hair. I just wanted to thank you. Not get married to an alien princess. Lyra's lips curved into a faint, sad smile. Then your gratitude has changed the fate of two worlds. As night fell over Seraphis, the sky shimmered with twin moons. Ryan looked out through the crystal walls, his mind spinning. He had come for peace, and instead he had tied his soul to an alien he barely knew. In the silence, he heard a soft voice. Not aloud, but in his mind. Ryan, he turned. Lyra was across the room, her eyes closed. Can you hear me? The voice said again, echoing in his thoughts. Ryan froze. Lyra, she opened her eyes slowly. The bond has already begun. And outside, in the quiet darkness, the stars pulsed like living hearts. Ryan Hale woke up in a room made of glowing glass. The walls shimmered softly like the inside of a seashell. He was still on Seraphis Fur, but it didn't feel like the same world anymore. Everything was quiet. Too quiet, he remembered the explosion, the kiss, the silence that followed, and Lyra's voice inside his head. Now, as he sat up on the smooth silver bed, he felt a strange warmth pulsing in his chest, like a heartbeat that wasn't his own. The door slid open without a sound. Lyra entered, wearing a long robe that flowed like mist. Her eyes glowed faintly, and her steps were silent, graceful, and light. You're awake, she said softly. Ryan stared at her. Barely. What happened to me? Why am I still here? You are now my bonded one, she said calmly. You cannot leave the bond chamber until the link is complete. Ryan rubbed his temples. You keep saying that word, bond. What does that even mean to your people? Lyra looked at him for a moment, then stepped closer. Among the Alari, a kiss is not only physical. It's a connection of energy, spirit to spirit. When you kissed me, our life forces touched. They merged. You called to me and the stars answered. Ryan gave a tired laugh. I didn't call to anyone, I just acted human. Her expression softened. That is what makes it powerful. You acted from your heart, not from thought. Outside, through the transparent walls, Ryan saw hundreds of Alari gathering near the temple. Some carried banners made of light. Others stood silently in prayer. He realized they weren't angry, they were celebrating. Lyra followed his gaze. They believe our union is a sign. A bridge between two worlds, Ryan frowned. But it's not real. It's a mistake, she nodded slowly. Perhaps. But our customs do not see mistakes, only fate. He turned back to her. Then what happens now? You will attend the binding ceremony before the High Council. It is our version of what humans call marriage. Ryan's stomach dropped. You mean a wedding? Oh no, this has gone too far. Lyra sighed gently. If the bond is not accepted, it begins to collapse. When that happens, pain spreads between the linked souls. Sometimes it kills both. Ryan stared at her, his voice low. So you're saying if I refuse, we both die? She nodded once. Yes. He walked to the window and pressed his hands against the cool surface. The stars outside looked like silent eyes watching him. How can something so small cause all this? Lyra joined him, her reflection glowing beside his. Because every action holds meaning in our world. To the Aelari, a kiss means you are ready to share your life, your spirit, your future. Ryan shook his head. On Earth, it just means you care about someone. Or you're thankful, or it just happens. She smiled faintly. Then perhaps your people do not understand how powerful caring can be. Later that day, Alari envoys entered the room. They spoke in calm, melodic voices, explaining that the ceremony would begin at sunset. Ryan tried to protest, but the humans on the communication link advised him to stay calm. Captain Hale, his commander said through the hollow screen. Earth's council wants to avoid conflict. You're technically under their protection now. Don't provoke them. Don't provoke them, Ryan snapped. They think I married an alien. Lyra watched silently as he argued. When the call ended, she said quietly, You fear what others will think more than what you feel? He looked at her. What I feel is trapped. Her gaze didn't waver. Then perhaps you should listen deeper. Bonds do not trap, they reveal. Ryan didn't reply. He could still feel that strange heartbeat in his chest syncing with hers. Every time he tried to ignore it, it grew stronger. That evening, the binding ceremony began. The temple's great doors opened and music floated through the air, soft, shimmering tones that seemed to touch the soul. Thousands of Alari gathered, their eyes glowing like silver stars. Ryan walked beside Lyra down a long crystal path. His human uniform had been replaced with ceremonial robes of light. He felt like a prisoner dressed for a show. When they reached the altar, the High Elder raised his staff. "By the kiss of union," he said, "two souls have found harmony. Let their link bring peace to all." Lyra turned to Ryan. "You may speak if you wish." He hesitated. Every camera, every alien gaze was fixed on him. His throat was dry. "I never meant for this to happen," he said slowly. "But maybe fate doesn't ask what we mean. It just acts," the crowd murmured softly, approving. Lyra smiled, a small, real smile. For a moment, Ryan felt something shift inside him, something warm and real. Then the elder spoke ancient words. Light surrounded Ryan and Lyra, swirling like mist. He felt it enter his skin, flow through his veins, and join the warmth in his chest. Lyra gasped quietly. "The bond. It's merging." Ryan stumbled, gripping her hand for balance. His vision flickered. For a heartbeat, he saw through her eyes, saw himself scared and confused, but also brave. The crowd cheered as the light faded. The ceremony was complete. Later, in the quiet of the night, Ryan sat by the window again. The stars shimmered brighter than before. He could feel Lyra's emotions like whispers: peace, sadness, curiosity. He turned to her. "So what happens now?" She looked at him with calm eyes. "Now our hearts will learn to beat as one. You will begin to see as I see." Ryan exhaled. "And if I don't want to?" Lyra's voice was gentle, but her words were sharp. "Then you will still feel it. Because what has begun cannot be undone." She stepped closer, placing her hand over his heart. The warmth spread again, steady, real, alive. "The bond is truth," she whispered. "Even if you deny it." Outside, thunder rolled across the alien sky. And deep inside Ryan's mind, her voice whispered softly again. "They will come for us soon. You don't yet know what you've done." Ryan looked out into the stars, and for the first time, he felt both awe and fear, because maybe the kiss wasn't an accident at all. The next morning, the alien sun rose like liquid gold over the glass towers of Seraphis Thor. The light was warm, but Ryan Hale felt cold inside. He stood on a balcony high above the city, staring at the glowing horizon. He was no longer just Captain Ryan Hale of Earth's diplomatic team. Now he was something else, something not fully human. Every time he looked at Lyra, he could feel her thoughts. A soft hum inside his mind. Sometimes it was a whisper, sometimes a flash of feeling, sadness, wonder, or fear. The connection was growing stronger every hour. He gripped the railing, trying to steady his thoughts. "What are you not telling me, Lyra?" he whispered. Her voice answered in his mind before she even entered the room. "You already know." Ryan turned sharply. She stood in the doorway, her silver robes shimmering in the morning light. "Then say it," he demanded. "Tell me why I can hear you. Tell me why I feel different." Lyra stepped forward, her gaze steady. "Because the bond is changing you. You are no longer only human, Ryan. Our energies are merging. The stars chose this path for a reason." He shook his head. "Don't give me that stars talk. This isn't fate, it's biology. Something's happening in my body." "I can feel it," she nodded slowly. "Yes, you are becoming half of what I am. It is rare and dangerous." Later that day, the human embassy contacted him again. Their holographic images flickered in the air above the balcony. His commander, Ambassador Wells, and two scientists. "Captain Hale," Wells said, his voice tense. "You've caused a political storm. The Alari High Council refuses to release you. They claim you're part of their royal family now." Ryan sighed. "Trust me, I didn't ask for the crown." The scientist, Dr. Faulkner, leaned closer to the projection. "Captain, we've run tests on your last medical scan. Your cells are changing. They're fusing with alien markers. If this continues, your DNA won't be fully human anymore." Ryan's heart pounded. "Can you stop it?" "Not without breaking the bond," the doctor said. "And that could kill you and her." Wells frowned. "If this continues, Earth's council might see you as compromised. We can't risk alien influence controlling one of our officers." "So what are you saying?" Ryan asked. "That you might be declared lost to human command," Wells replied. "And if that happens, we can't protect you." Before Ryan could respond, Lyra's voice filled his mind again, calm but urgent. They are afraid of what they don't understand. Ryan clenched his fists. Maybe I'm afraid too, he said aloud. That night he and Lyra walked through the quiet gardens of the temple. The plants glowed softly, their petals breathing light into the air. Ryan finally asked the question burning in his mind. Who are you really, Lyra? She stopped walking. The light from the plants reflected in her eyes like tiny stars. I am the daughter of the Celestial Council, she said. Heir to the line that rules Seraphis IV. The kiss you gave me was not only seen, it was recorded in the archives of fate. That makes you my chosen bondmate, and the rightful consort of the heir. Ryan stared at her in disbelief. You mean, I kissed an alien princess? Lyra tilted her head. If that helps you understand, yes, he groaned. Great. So I didn't just marry an alien. I married the one alien who could start a war. Lyra looked away, her voice quiet. The bond has already done that. In orbit above the planet, human and Alari fleets were forming lines. Each side claimed the other had violated treaties. The humans demanded Ryan's return. The Alari refused. The peace treaty that had taken years to build was breaking apart, because of one kiss. Inside the temple, Lyra knelt before the High Council. Ryan stood beside her, surrounded by alien guards. The council's eyes glowed bright silver. The human has become a symbol of interference, one elder said. We must decide if this bond serves the stars or threatens them. Lyra raised her head. He is innocent. He acted from the heart. The elder's tone was cold. The heart is a dangerous weapon. Another council member spoke. The union has awakened something in both of you. We can sense the energy, old energy from before our time. It is the mark of the eternal link. Ryan frowned. What's that supposed to mean? The elder turned his glowing eyes toward him. It means your bond is not simple. It is ancient. It once united two species long ago, but it ended in fire and ruin. Entire systems burned because of love that could not be controlled. Ryan's pulse quickened. You're saying this has happened before? Yes, the elder said. And it destroyed everything. After the hearing, Lyra and Ryan were confined to the temple's inner chambers. The walls pulsed faintly with energy, sealing them inside. Ryan paced the floor, his thoughts racing. So we're trapped again. Great. Lyra touched the wall gently. They are afraid, Ryan. The eternal link can bring peace or chaos. They do not know which we will bring. He turned toward her, frustration in his voice. I don't even know what I'm becoming. You are becoming more than you were, she said softly. And so am I, he met her eyes. What if this bond really is dangerous? Then we must learn to control it, she said. Ryan took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm inside him. He could feel her heartbeat again, steady, gentle but powerful. What happens if we can't? He asked quietly. Lyra's answer was barely a whisper. Then history will repeat itself. Outside in the cold darkness of space, two massive fleets prepared for battle. Inside the temple, two souls, one human, one alien, stood at the center of a storm neither of them understood. And as the stars flickered above Seraphis IV, a new force began to awaken inside them both, something ancient, beautiful, and terrifying. The night sky over Seraphis IV burned with silent tension. The stars shimmered coldly, and far above them, human and Alari fleets faced each other in orbit, ready to strike at the smallest mistake. Down below, inside the glowing temple, Ryan Hale sat alone in a chamber made of silver glass. His head throbbed. His heart raced with two rhythms, one his own and one that wasn't. The connection between him and Lyra was growing stronger every hour. He could feel her even when she wasn't near. He could sense her breathing, her emotions, even her fear. He closed his eyes, trying to block it out, but it was impossible. The bond pulsed like light under his skin. When the door opened, Lyra stepped in quietly. Her face looked pale, her silver eyes dim. She sat beside him without a word. For a while, they just listened to the soft hum of the temple. You can feel it too, can't you? Ryan finally asked. Lyra nodded. Yes, the link deepens. It is no longer just thoughts or emotions. Our energies are starting to fuse, Ryan frowned. And that's bad, isn't it? It depends, she whispered. If we lose control, the bond can consume us both. He looked at her sharply. Consume us? The eternal link is powerful, Lyra said softly. It was created by the ancients to unite species, to make peace through shared life. But when hearts grow fearful, the bond becomes poison. Ryan stood up, pacing. So we're supposed to stay calm while our DNA melts together and two armies wait to kill each other? Her eyes glowed faintly. If we give in to fear, we become weapons. That is what the Council fears. Hours later, the High Council summoned Lyra and Ryan to the central chamber. A circle of glowing energy surrounded them as the elders observed from their high seats. We have attempted to weaken the link, one elder said, but it resists all separation. It grows stronger. The human's essence is merging with the air's. This must be stopped. Ryan glared. You can't just treat us like lab animals. This is our lives. You are no longer only human, another elder replied coldly. You are something else now, something that might destroy us all. Lyra's voice broke the silence. I will not allow harm to come to him. The bond is ours to bear, not yours to fear. The elders exchanged looks. Then you both must leave Seraphis Fru, the oldest one said. Your presence here endangers our world. If you stay, war will come. Ryan's jaw tightened. So you're banishing us? The elder's voice was like thunder. No, we are saving what remains. That night, Lyra came to Ryan's chamber with urgency in her eyes. We have to go, she said. Now? He frowned. Where? Anywhere. Before they change their minds and imprison us. Ryan didn't ask more. Something in her voice told him the decision was final. They moved quickly through the empty halls, their footsteps echoing against crystal floors. When they reached the outer gate, Lyra raised her hand. The air shimmered and a small transport ship appeared, silver, alive with light. They boarded it and soared into the dark sky. Below them, the shining city of Seraphis faded into the clouds. Ahead of them, the stars stretched out like an endless ocean. As the ship left the planet's orbit, Ryan looked back one last time. Do you think they'll follow? Yes, Lyra said quietly. But not to capture us, to end us. He didn't reply. He could already sense the fear spreading across both species. Humans thought he'd betrayed them. The Alari thought he was a danger to their way of life. They were alone. For days, they drifted through silent space. The ship glowed with faint blue light, powered by Lyra's touch. Ryan watched her work. Her, fingers dancing across alien symbols, her expression calm yet heavy with thought. How long can we run? He asked. Until we find the truth, she replied. About the bond? Yes. The eternal link wasn't meant to destroy. It was meant to awaken something. Ryan leaned forward. Awaken what? She looked at him with a strange, sad smile. The merging of two souls strong enough to change destiny itself. He shook his head. Sounds like a myth. Her gaze didn't waver. Every myth begins with someone who didn't believe. That night, as Ryan slept, he dreamed. Or maybe it wasn't a dream. He saw flashes of light. Two figures, one human, one Alari, standing hand in hand at the edge of a burning galaxy. They were surrounded by energy so bright it tore worlds apart. He felt their pain, their love, their final words. If the bond is broken by fear, the stars will bleed. Ryan jolted awake, gasping. Lyra was beside him, her hand gripping his. She had seen the same vision. You saw them too, she whispered. He nodded. They died, didn't they? Yes, she said. The first bonded pair. They tried to use their power to force peace, and it destroyed them. Ryan stared into her silver eyes. So that's what the Council fears, that we'll become like them. Lyra nodded. They are afraid of repeating the past. He took a deep breath. Then we'll do what they couldn't. We'll control it. Her voice trembled. If we fail, it won't just be us, it will be everything. He looked at her hand resting over his. Their connection pulsed softly, warm, alive, and terrifyingly real. Then we don't fail, he said. Outside their small ship, stars drifted by like silent watchers. But far behind them, two fleets, one human, one Alari, were already tracking their energy trail. They weren't running from the bond anymore. They were running from a galaxy that was afraid of what love could do. And deep within Ryan's chest, the light pulsed stronger, like a second heart learning to beat for two. The stars stretched endlessly before them, billions of cold, distant fires burning in the dark. Ryan Hale sat in the pilot's chair of the small Alari ship, watching the streaks of light blur past as they jumped through hyperspace. The hum of the engines was soft, almost like a heartbeat. Maybe that was why it scared him, because he couldn't tell anymore if the heartbeat belonged to the ship or to Lyra. Behind him, Lyra stood by the glowing control panel, her long robe floating gently in the air. The silver light from her skin reflected off the glass walls. She looked calm, but Ryan could feel her emotions through the bond: fear, sadness, and a strange, deep determination. "They're following us," he said quietly. "I can feel it." "Yes," Lyra replied. "Both the humans and the Ailari. They track the energy from our bond. It shines across space like a beacon." Ryan clenched his fists on the controls. "So we're basically running with a target painted on us." Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "Running is not the goal. Surviving is." He looked up at her, meeting her glowing eyes. "Do you ever regret it?" Her voice was calm. "Regret what?" "The kiss," he said softly. "If I hadn't done it, you wouldn't be hunted." Lyra smiled faintly. "On my world, every choice leads where it must. You did not trap me, Ryan, you found me." Hours passed. The ship moved through a silent nebula, a vast cloud of color and shadow. Purple light shimmered around them like fog. Ryan had never seen anything so hauntingly beautiful. But peace didn't last. Suddenly alarms flashed red. The ship shook. A voice echoed from the console in a sharp tone. "Pursuit detected." Ryan jumped to the controls. "Who is it?" Lyra looked at the sensor display. Her face darkened. "Both fleets, human and Ailari. They've joined forces to capture us." He froze. Joined forces? They were ready to destroy each other. "Fear can make enemies unite," she said grimly. The radar showed dozens of ships approaching fast. Ryan took a deep breath. "Hang on." He pulled the lever. The ship roared forward, diving through the nebula. Clouds of energy swirled around them. Lightning like flashes cracked against the hull. Behind them, explosions flared as the fleets fired. The tiny craft twisted and dodged, slipping between glowing asteroids and waves of ion dust. "Left now!" Lyra shouted, gripping the console. "I see it." Ryan turned sharply. The ship grazed past a broken moon fragment. The blast from behind tore a hole through the rock, sending debris spinning like knives. The chase grew faster, tighter. The small Ailari craft trembled with every hit. Ryan gritted his teeth. "We can't keep this up." "There's one place they won't follow," Lyra said suddenly. "Where?" Her voice turned quiet. "The grave of the ancients." He gave her a sharp look. "That sounds comforting." "It's a dead system," she explained. "Once home to the first bonded pair. Their energy destroyed everything. The place is cursed." Ryan's heart pounded. "Perfect. A cursed planet. Let's go." As they approached the dark system, the stars around them began to fade. The ship's lights flickered. Space itself seemed thicker, heavier. Broken planets floated like shadows, their surfaces cracked and blackened. Ryan felt something strange, a pull, deep and cold, inside his chest. Lyra gasped softly. "You feel it too," he said. "Yes," she whispered. "It is the echo of the first link. Their power never died. It waits." The ship landed on a ruined moon covered in glass-like sand. Silence filled the air. No wind, no movement. Only the faint hum of energy beneath their feet. They stepped outside. Ryan looked around. "It feels like walking through a graveyard." Lyra knelt beside a broken stone covered in glowing marks. "This was once a sanctuary. The first bonded pair tried to control the link here, and failed." Ryan touched the stone. He saw a vision. Two figures, one human, one Ailari, holding hands as their light consumed the stars. Their voices echoed faintly. "If we fall, another will rise." He pulled back, breathing hard. They knew this would happen again. Lyra looked at him sadly. The bond always returns. It chooses when the galaxy is close to breaking. Ryan stared at her. You mean we were chosen to stop the war? Or to end it forever, she whispered. A sudden sound broke the silence, the low hum of approaching ships. Ryan looked up and saw dark shapes cutting through the thin atmosphere. They found us, he said. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. Then it's time to stop running. What are you doing? He asked as she stepped toward the center of the ancient ruins. Something the first pair could not, she said. Control. She raised her hands. The ground lit up with symbols, pulsing like veins of fire. The bond inside Ryan flared in response. His body trembled, his veins glowing faint blue. Lyra, what's happening? He shouted. The bond is awakening, she said through clenched teeth. We must shape it before it shapes us. Energy exploded around them, forming a sphere of light. The air shook with raw power. Ryan felt his mind fill with visions. Earth, Seraphis 4, fleets at war, people dying. He also saw peace, love, and unity. Every possible future flashed before him. Lyra's voice echoed in his mind. Ryan, don't fight it. Guide it. He reached for her hand. Their fingers touched, and the chaos turned calm. The light steadied. The storm of energy quieted to a heartbeat. Then the pursuing ships appeared above, surrounding the moon, but none fired. They couldn't. The sight below froze them. Two beings glowing like stars, standing hand in hand amid ruins of light. For a moment, the universe itself seemed to hold its breath. Then Lyra whispered, her voice trembling. They will not chase us now. They fear what they've seen. Ryan stared at their joined hands, still glowing. What did we just do? We became the thing they fear most, Lyra said softly. Hope. Above the shattered moon, the fleets drifted in silence. No shots fired. And down below, two glowing figures stood together under the endless dark, their hearts beating as one, their power just beginning to awaken. The silence after the storm was deep and heavy. The stars above the ruined moon seemed to watch in awe, as if the universe itself held its breath. Ryan Hale and Lyra stood hand in hand at the center of the ancient ruins, their bodies still glowing faintly from the power they had just released. The energy had stopped the fleets above from firing. For the first time, humans and Alari had both seen something greater than war, but peace, Ryan knew, never lasted long. He turned to Lyra, his voice low. They won't stay silent forever. They'll want answers. They deserve them, Lyra said softly, but they will not believe words alone. We must show them. Ryan frowned. Show them what? She met his eyes. That the bond is not a weapon, it's life itself. It connects, not destroys. Before he could reply, the communicator on his wrist buzzed. A projection flickered to life. Admiral Wells from Earth Command. His face looked pale and tense. Captain Hale, Wells said. What have you done? Ryan looked up at the hovering image of his old commander. We ended the fight temporarily. Temporarily? Wells' voice rose. Both fleets are on edge. You and that alien have turned into some kind of energy anomaly. The Council believes you're manipulating forces beyond control. Lyra stepped forward, calm and steady. We are not manipulating. We are merging what has always been divided. Wells glared. You're dangerous. Both of you. If you don't surrender immediately, both governments will. The transmission cut off. A bright flash rippled through the sky above them. The fleets had moved closer. Ryan felt a chill. They're going to attack. Lyra closed her eyes. Then we must end this before it begins. Moments later, their ship lifted from the surface, heading toward the burning sky. The ruins of the moon fell away behind them as they rose toward the line of warships orbiting in silent threat. As they neared, human and Alari vessels spread apart, forming two curved lines facing each other. Between them, a massive dying star glowed faintly, its energy unstable, a cosmic heartbeat slowing down. Lyra pointed to it. That star, it is breaking apart. If it collapses, the explosion will destroy both fleets. Ryan stared. You mean the system's dying? Yes, she said quietly. But the bond can heal it if we give everything we have. He turned to her sharply. You mean our lives? She nodded slowly. To save theirs, yes. The two fleets opened fire at the same time, blinding lines of light crossing space. Ryan pulled the ship upward, dodging blasts. Alarms screamed. Explosions flared all around them. "Lyra, we can't survive this," he shouted. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of sorrow. "We were never meant to survive. We were meant to change." Before he could stop her, she reached out and pressed her palm against the ship's core. The vessel began to glow from within. Ryan felt a surge of energy flood through him, the same warmth that had connected them since that first kiss. "Lyra, what are you doing?" "The star is connected to us now," she said. "If we share our energy, it will stabilize." He grabbed her hand, his voice breaking. "If we do this, we die," she smiled softly. "If we don't, everything else dies." He looked into her eyes, glowing silver against the red light of the collapsing star. He saw fear there, but also peace. And in that instant, he understood. They flew straight toward the dying star. The ship trembled violently as radiation storms ripped through space. Both fleets stopped firing and watched in disbelief. Inside the ship, Ryan and Lyra stood side by side, hands joined, eyes closed. Their voices blended in a single whisper. For peace. For life. The ship plunged into the star's core. A blinding light exploded across the system. From every ship, human and Alari alike, crew members shielded their eyes. Instruments failed. Alarms went silent. For a heartbeat there was nothing, no sound, no light, no war. Then the light changed. It softened, spreading outward like a living wave. The dying star stopped collapsing. Its unstable fire turned calm, glowing bright and golden. Energy rippled across space, not destructive, but healing. On the human flagship, Admiral Wells stared in shock. The star, it's alive again. On the Alari command vessel, the elders fell to their knees. The Link has chosen renewal. Inside the golden light, Ryan felt weightless. He looked at Lyra, her face serene, her eyes bright as starlight. Their hands were still joined, their forms glowing, dissolving into pure energy. "Lyra," he whispered. She smiled faintly. "You said it was just a kiss." He nodded weakly, tears in his eyes. "And it became everything." Her fingers tightened around his. "Then let it end as it began, with love." The light enveloped them completely. When the fleets recovered, the small ship was gone. Only the golden star remained, burning brighter than ever before. Its light reached across the galaxy, shining with strange energy. From that moment, peace returned. Both governments withdrew their weapons. Messages of awe and sorrow spread through space. The event was named the Trial of Two Worlds. Human scientists studied the light for years but could never explain it. Alari poets called it the Starborn Miracle. But among the few who had seen it up close, they said something stranger. For a moment, when the light had flared brightest, two voices were heard across every ship, one human, one Alari speaking in unison. "We are one. The war is over." And so, the bond that began with a single kiss ended with the birth of a new star, a star that connected two species forever. But legends say that if you travel close enough to that golden light and listen carefully through the silence of space, you can still hear them, two voices whispering together. Love does not end. It transforms. 100 years had passed since the day the golden star was born. The galaxy still remembered the light that saved two worlds from war. No one forgot the names Ryan Hale and Lyra of Seraphis. Their story became legend, part truth, part mystery, part faith. On Earth, children were taught that love had stopped the greatest war in history. On Seraphis Fur, the Alari sang songs of the starborn couple, whose bond had rekindled a dying sun. But few knew what really happened in those final moments, how two souls became something greater than flesh and time. The golden star, once thought dead, still burned softly in the dark, a calm, warm light among billions of cold suns. Every ship that passed near it felt the same strange peace. Radios went silent, tempers cooled, and even machines slowed their violent pulse. It was as if the star whispered directly into every heart. No one had ever found a source for that whisper. No one ever would. In the present day, a young pilot named Ari Hale, a descendant of the original captain, guided her small exploration craft toward the golden light. Her ship glided through the emptiness like a silver arrow. Her mission was simple: to record energy readings from the Hale-Lyra nexus, as scientists now called it. But deep inside, she carried another reason. She wanted to know if the legends were true. Her grandfather used to tell her stories about the Starborn, how they didn't die, but became part of the universe. Ari never believed him. But something about this star felt familiar, like it was calling her name. As the ship drew closer, the soft gold light began to fill the cabin. The instruments went quiet, but the hum in her chest grew stronger, steady, rhythmic like a heartbeat. Ari whispered, "It's alive." Her onboard AI flickered. "Warning, radiation levels unknown." "Stay calm," she said softly. "I'm not leaving yet." She brought the ship into orbit around the golden sphere. The light didn't blind her, it embraced her, gentle and warm. For a moment, she felt a strange calm fill her mind, like the quiet before sunrise. Then she heard it. A voice, no, two voices, faint, distant, but clear. "You came." Ari froze. "Who's there?" "A name is not enough," the voices said, layered in perfect harmony. "One human, one Alari. You carry our blood and our memory," her breath caught. "Ryan Hale?" The light shimmered, almost pulsing with emotion. "And Lyra," came the reply. "Two halves made whole. Two worlds made one." Ari's hands trembled. "You're real." "The stories, they were true?" "Truth and myth are both ways of remembering," the voice said. "But the bond was never about power. It was about connection." Tears filled Ari's eyes. "If you're still here, why stay in this star?" The golden light flared gently, wrapping her ship in its glow. "Because this star is not a prison," Ryan's voice said softly. "It's our home. And our promise," Lyra added. "As long as it shines, there will be peace between our people." Ari looked out through the viewport. The star's surface rippled like water. She saw faint shapes, two figures of light standing together hand in hand. They looked calm, peaceful. Their eyes glowed softly, reflecting endless galaxies. She wanted to speak, but the words wouldn't come. "You are the bridge, Ari," Ryan's voice continued. "The bond lives in you. Not through power, but through understanding. Every act of kindness continues the link." She wiped her tears and whispered, "I won't forget." Lyra's voice was soft, like music. "Then the light will never fade." When Ari returned to Earth weeks later, her ship carried strange readings, frequencies that no one could explain. Scientists said they were just energy echoes, but sometimes when they played the recordings, the air around them seemed to hum gently, and people would fall silent, feeling something deep and warm in their hearts. News spread that the Hale-Lyra nexus was growing brighter, visible from distant systems now. Travelers began calling it the Heart Star. Some claimed they could hear soft voices when they passed near it, voices speaking of hope, forgiveness, and love. The story of the Starborn became more than legend. It became a symbol. Humans and Alari built cities together, shared science, art, and life. No warships patrolled the borders anymore, only explorers searching for more lights like the Golden Star. And every year, on the same day the star was reborn, both species held a celebration called the Day of Two Suns. Lanterns filled the skies of Earth and Seraphis alike, floating upward in pairs, one golden, one silver, until they disappeared into the dark. Late one evening, Ari stood on a balcony overlooking the twin moons of Seraphis IV. The night was quiet, filled with music and laughter from the celebration below. She looked up and saw the golden star shining in the distance, brighter than any other. She smiled softly. "You did it," she whispered. "You really changed everything." For a brief moment she thought she saw something. Two faint shapes in the starlight standing close together. A man and a woman, hands entwined, watching over the world they had once saved. Ari felt the hum again. Faint but real. A heartbeat that wasn't hers. She whispered, "Thank you," and somewhere across the stars, the soft answer came back, gentle and warm. "Love does not end. It transforms." The golden light continued to shine, casting warmth across endless worlds. It was not just a reminder of what had been lost, but of what had been found: connection, unity, and the truth that even the smallest act, even a single kiss, could change the fate of galaxies. Because in the end, the Starborn were not gods. They were simply two hearts that refused to hate. And that was enough to light the stars forever. The end.